Hey guys, so today I want to talk about what I call the dominant strategy. The dominant strategy for school, careers, and life. So, in one of the previous videos, I talked about how it might not be such a good thing if you get into your dream college, if you have a dream college. And one of the reasons was, the things that you did to get into the dream school, to not take chances, to try to maintain your perfect or really high GPA at all costs, and not exploring, right? Not taking the initiative, not finding out what you truly enjoy, right? All those things, you're rewarded for not doing those things. Tailoring your young life, or you could be a graduate, you could be working, you could even be middle aged, but specifically in the context of colleges, getting into colleges, the college admissions game, tailoring your entire life for the college admissions process and to impress college admissions committees, it's bad on two main levels. There's many bad things about it, but let's talk about two ways it's bad, okay? The first way is you develop bad habits. The things that I talked about, becoming risk averse, not taking chances, not exploring. Now, I'm not taking take physically risky chances and get into dangerous situations. I'm just talking about exploring, reading a book. You might decide not to even pick up a book because you figure you don't have time to read that book because you have to show excellence, all around broad range excellence by getting high grades, getting A's in classes that you might not necessarily be interested in. So all those things, it adds up to bad habits, and you're rewarded for those bad habits, and then they can stay with you for a long time. And so that's pretty bad, okay? And so what I like to call is a way around that, a way to avoid that is what I call the dominant strategy. The dominant strategy, and I use it with my students, and it's very simple. Oh, before I get into the dominant strategy, another reason why tailoring your life and doing everything in terms of getting into college is bad by pursuing high GPA and high test scores is that they're not enough anyway, right? So you're doing these bad things that gives you bad habits, a bad outlook, a bad approach to life, non-adventurous, a non-risk taking, with no initiative of your own. You're just following directions, and you're just doing things that you think are going to impress admissions committee members. Besides all those bad habits that you're forming and a bad outlook, they're not enough anyway, right? So it's a double whammy. They're not enough because for vast majority of students, unless you come from a very disadvantaged background, high test scores and high grades, they're excellent, they're good things, right? And you should be proud of yourself if you had to work hard for them. And they're great. I'm not denigrating those things, but they're not gonna be enough, especially for the fancy schools that you might want to get into. Okay, so it's really a bad deal, right? You're developing bad habits. You're not taking chances. You're not pursuing the topics that you're interested in, and they're not enough anyway. Even if you perfect it, even if you make yourself into a perfect GPA, perfect test score, perfect activities with all the approved typical volunteer and extracurricular activities, right? And so, a way around that, a way to entirely avoid this, what I call is the dominant approach. The dominant approach is this. Okay, so yes, do your best in school. Okay, the habits you develop will stay with you for the rest of your life. But you don't have to be so obsessed, so worried about getting a perfect score, perfect record in school. Okay, just do your best. Okay, whatever your best is, that's fine. Okay, and here's the thing: go out and try things. Explore things and then make something off that. I mentioned this in the previous video, okay? But the great thing about this dominant approach by exploring your interests, pursuing them, following up on them, and making something is that it's great for both good students and just average students, or even bad students, right? If you're a good student, these are the types of activities, right? Really unique activities where you've made something, where you truly help someone, or you truly create something unique, beautiful, or helpful to others. That's gonna get you over the top, okay? That's what you need, okay? Something, that extra thing, right? If you're just an average student, or if you're just not interested in school at all, but you still want to go to college, or you still want to get a job by doing something unique, and you don't want to even make your own resume because you're not into that typical sellout kind of stuff, if you will, if you want to call it. making something of your own based on what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, or what you're just like curious about, allows you to not play the whole academic game based on grades and test scores at all. Okay, so it's great for not only straight A students, but for average students, or just like if you consider yourself a really bad student, it's great for you as well, because it allows you to just avoid that that rat race, if you want to call it, completely. Okay, so let's briefly talk about it. I mentioned it briefly. I mentioned the example of if you like to take pictures, take a bunch of pictures on your own, and then go ask and work for other people. Ask parents. You'll volunteer. You'll come to their birthday parties, your social gatherings, right? Take those pictures, put it into a book, include some of your own commentary, own instructions on how to become a better photographer, right? If you're a musician, put up your music performances on YouTube. Put up your compositions, your melodies, and give it away for free on your website, on your blog, whatever, right? If you love to cook, okay, create your own YouTube channel. This is not about getting 1 million subscribers to your YouTube channel. It's about getting in the habit of putting yourself out there, showing people that you offer something, but most importantly, you yourself having fun, okay? And getting in the habit of doing what you like and developing your skills and pursuing it, because that, even if it doesn't translate into GPA and test scores directly, it will come across, even in invisible ways, in your college personal essays, okay? And you could talk about them, and you could list them in the activity sections, and the extracurricular activity sections, and that will be very unique compared to the vast majority of your classmates. Again, we're not competing against our classmates. We're just taking a track that I think is better. Okay, following a path I think is more unique and better. In many ways, it's better for you. That's the most important thing, because you get in the habit of doing things that you like, and you're pursuing your hobbies and interests, right? But college is like it as well, because you're unique, right? You're not just doing the typical classroom grades, test scores, volunteering at wherever, a lot of people usually volunteer at. There's nothing wrong with volunteering at the hospital. I have volunteered at the hospital as well, right? But if you could do something extra and bring something to the hospital, or create your own volunteer organizations. So those are the sort of unique things that anybody can do that's off the beaten path, okay? So again, I just call it the dominant strategy. You could call it whatever you want, okay? Whatever you want to call it, pursue what you're interested in, follow up on it, and make something off of it. Whether it's a brochure, a simple website, simple video, you could write a book. Again, writing a book is not a big deal, okay? It could be a very good book that you write. There are many, many good bad books published by the big publishing companies. That doesn't mean they're good books. You could write a better book, okay? And you could put it out through Amazon's CreateSpace self-publishing platform, okay? It's a print-on-demand program. It costs you literally nothing to put your book out there, okay? You might spend $5, $10, $15 designing the cover, or if you're a good designer, you could design it yourself, okay? So the dominant strategy. It doesn't work. The dominant strategy is it goes around the typical approach that doesn't work. What is the typical approach? Trying to get the best grades and test scores you can. They're important, but they're not enough. Vast majority of the time, they're not enough. So how do you get around that, right? Do your best in school first. Second, after the homework is done, pursue what you're interested in, okay? And have the guts to follow up on it and make something off of that, okay? And that way, it adds to your academic record, or if you don't have the greatest academic record, it makes up for it, okay? So in future videos, we'll talk about how to make things, okay? I'll go into specifics, and that's it for now, okay? So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.